Hi everyone, I am Brittany, the Cosmic Lunar Soul. Welcome to my channel if you're new. Welcome back to all of my subscribers. We are going to be doing the flip through of the Green Glyphs Oracle deck. So this is the box. This looks very similar to the main box that you can kind of see a glimpse of here. But if you're curious about the main box, you can go ahead and check out the overview video. But again, you can see all that cool holographic print on the back. We have the title, a sample of the cards, and then of course it just says that this is a 50 card deck and it includes an 80-page guidebook. So let's go ahead and get it open. This has the same box as all the other with the magnetic tab here. And then opening it up, we have some more details here. It says, a door presents itself in a dream. It's a simple door made of wood with a brass knob. It's nothing remarkable, but where it leads is all that matters. Once the door is open, it can never be closed again. May this oracle reaffirm your choices so you can cast fear aside for what lies on the other side. Ooh, that's really deep. All right, let's go ahead and look at the guidebook, and then we'll come back and look at the deck. So I mentioned before in all of my other videos that the guidebooks are fully colored and illustrated. All of the guidebooks, of course, have their version of their table of contents. And this one just includes a note, a welcome, beginning exercises, which I think will be really cool. Oracle poems, which is interesting, conducting a reading, reading 3 cards, painting the portrait, the Celtic cross, which is interesting with oracle cards. I've actually never tried that. Decoding the cards and continuing the journey. So you can see all of the colors here. The cards are fully colored. This is just welcome to the oracle. So this is going to be a traditional just introduction to the deck, what you can expect, why it was created, and just sort of what you can sort of get out of using this deck. It does explain how this guidebook is set up, and it says that you'll find suggested keywords for each card. We'll kind of look at that later. And then it goes into what's an oracle deck. How can this deck be integrated with other Green Glyph decks, which is really cool, because if you don't have this glossary, which I talked about in the overview video, you can at least get an idea if you decide to over time purchase these decks individually, how you can start to incorporate them and get some ideas. Do the cards in the Green Glyphs Oracle have a fixed order? That is very important. If you've seen some of my other deck unboxings, you know that they are numbered and often numbered alphabetically as well. So it does create this sense of hierarchy, even though there isn't. Explains where the imagery comes from. Why don't these cards have color like the rest of the Green Glyphs? In this section, he explains that with the other decks, the images are supposed to relay a sense of either positive or negative connotation, whereas in the oracle, they want the person, the reader, to discern that meaning, and it can be like a foray of meanings, a spectrum of meanings from the images, and they don't want to lead the reader on. So I think that this is going with a very traditional oracle aspect where you kind of glean a little bit of your own meaning and then mesh it with the meanings or suggested keywords in the deck as well. So this can be used very, very intuitively, a combination of intuitively with keywords, or just go traditional with the keywords. So there are some beginning exercises. Note that this is a freeform deck, as I was just explaining, so it can be used in a multitude of different ways, but there are some exercises that are included that can help just kind of speed you along with getting connected to the deck and feeling your way through the deck and discerning how you're going to use it. This goes into oracle poems. This is interesting. I've never heard of this. Basically, what creating an oracle poem is using the cards to create a poem or he said a couplet. And it's basically dealing out pairs and then removing anything that doesn't seem to fit the theme, and then shuffling or reordering the cards to make a sensical story, I guess. It's very interesting. I don't think I'd ever do that, but I think that's really fun, and I could see a bunch of buddies doing that. Here it goes into how to conduct a reading 3 cards. There's a lot of detail in there. And then here it says painting the portrait. Oh my God, why can't I say that word? Painting the portrait is a specific spread that is given in here. It says that it's a spread that is used in Lenormand but can be applied here in Oracle. So that's kind of cool. If you have the accompanying Lenormand deck, then you could probably do like a foray of both. You could do a Lenormand version, Oracle version, and kind of see how it compares. That'd be a really cool exercise. And then it goes into like a sample reading, so you get an idea of what to expect. I think sample readings are really important when you're learning or kind of getting a feel of a new deck, especially with Oracle, because Tarot is very rigid. Runes are fairly rigid as well. I'm not 100% sure about Lenormand, but I think that is also pretty rigid. So when you're dealing with Oracle, it's really nice to see how people use the cards, if that makes sense. Here we have the Celtic Cross. I mentioned I've never actually done that with Oracle. It'd be a fun exercise. And then, of course, goes into another example. So there's a section here called Decoding the Cards, and it just goes through what to expect on the following pages. It'll have the card name, the glyph, or, image of the card, a few sentences about the cards, keywords, and then the reverse card association if you decide to do reversals in Oracle. So it looks very similar to the setup in the previous flip throughs. Here's the glyph, the name, few sentences, the suggested keywords, suggested reverse keywords. I like actually that this deck includes reversals, because a lot of times Oracle doesn't do that. And there's nothing wrong with it. I personally don't read reversals with Oracle just because of the way that I read with Oracle to begin with. But in introducing Oracle to traditionally like Tarot or Lenormand spreads, I think that it's really interesting and important to give a different aspect to it to make it more relatable to those spreads. Here we have Going Beyond This Guide, and this is where you kind of like continue the journey and give you like some talks about basically, use this to your heart's content kind of thing. It's really what that section is about. And then that is the end. So let's go ahead and prep for the flip through. right, that was the flip through. Let's talk about the cards. The backs have the same print as all of the other decks. That is so you can mix and match without being led to what deck it is. So if you plan to make a giant mega deck, that is honestly perfect. It has the same foiling, that same like lovely holographic foiling, and I'm sure you've noticed that on the cards, all of the cards have some level of foiling as well. Some have more than others. For instance, the door versus the acorn, you can see that only a few spots within each acorn have it versus almost the entire card being holographic. The cards are 2.5 by 3.5 inches and 350 GSM. That is actually a perfect size and perfect weight for the size of the card. If you are a bridge and riffler shuffler, then you probably will end up with a semi-permanent bend similar to looking like this. Usually people that shuffle that way don't care, but if you were curious about that, just know that you probably will get a bend in these. Let's see if that's even possible to riffle shuffle them. These are pretty stiff cards. They don't want to bend too much, and this is a thicker deck than we've had with the runes and the Lenormand. So let's do an overhand. I already know from previous flip throughs, if you haven't seen them, you can check them out, that the shuffle is beautiful, nice and slick. These are a matte finish. You can see that there's only the slight, it's like a coated matte is probably, I don't know how to, if you see my flip throughs, I don't know how to describe finishes. It took me way too long to learn what rose petal finish was. I kept calling it like velveteen or something. So anyway, it shuffles beautifully. I have small hands, so this is honestly a really, really comfortable size. I tend not to shuffle reversals into my deck, so this is a really comfortable way to shuffle. Let's see if we can get a bridge going. So it was a little tough to riffle. Let's try that again, and you can actually see the bend happening already. So let's try it one more time, and then I'm gonna bend them back into shape because I actually do care about these. Yeah, it doesn't want to bridge very well, too stiff. So I'm gonna just kind of give them a quick little bend in the opposite direction. So I really love the cards. Well, I'm glad this one popped up. I think being able to use this intuitively will be super easy. If you notice, this card has very little holographic. If you notice, it's right there. But I think it was very smart to not include color and replace it with holographic, just holographic colors, I guess. I'll be curious to see how well that lasts, because if you know, foiling and stuff on the edges tends not to last very long. I have a feeling, because I have some other decks of his that do have this kind of holographic nature, I think, or no, not of his, of someone else's, but they do last fairly well. But this is a whole entire card almost, so I'm just curious to see how it will hold up. If you guys enjoyed this flip through, make sure you give me a like. If you're curious about the entire box set, you can go ahead and check out the previous video, and then make sure you check out the playlist so you don't miss out on other videos, and hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you know when my next video comes out, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye guys.